The meeting will please come to order. I'd like to say good evening to everyone. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Those who are virtual and for those who have joined us in council chambers, my name is Trippy Congo, President of Wilmington City Council. And on behalf of all of us on council, again, we just want to thank you for being here with us this evening. Today is Thursday, October the 5th. Just for a public comment, note there is a Google Form sign-up link in the chat for any City of Wilmington resident who resides in any of our councilmanic districts, or for taxpayers who would like to speak. Public comment will take place after non-legislative business. At this time, we will have opening prayer by Akira Granado.
Heavenly Father, we have assembled to handle the affairs of our city. As we do so, we ask for your guidance and understanding. We pray that our city reaches a place of peace and safety. Keep us out of harm's way and bless those who are in authority. Let respect be key in all our endeavors. Amen.
Amen. This time we will recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman White. Councilmember Darby.
Here.
Councilmember Oliver.
Present.
Councilmember Harley. Councilmember Fields.
Present.
Councilmember McCoy.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson. Councilmember Field.
Present.
Councilmember Cabrera.
Here.
Councilmember Mills.
Present.
Councilmember Spadola.
Present.
Councilmember Bracy.
Present.
President Congo.
Here.
10 present and 3 absent.
Thank you. This time I have the reading of the minutes of the previous meeting.
September 21st, 2023, City Council met in regular session with remote participation on the above date at 6:30 p.m. President Ernest M. Congo II presiding.
Mr. President, I move the minutes be accepted as written.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that the minutes be accepted as written. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed?
White. He's on there.
I'd like to acknowledge Councilmember White has joined us. Motion carried.
Thank you.
This time we have the committee reports.
September 18, 2023, present members of council, City of Wilmington, ladies and gentlemen, we, your Public Works and Transportation Committee, met by anchor location and remote participation to was referred ordinance number 23029 entitled, an ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the City Code to create a procedure whereby residents may petition the Department of Public Works to conduct traffic studies and install traffic calming devices. Have given
Mr.
this ordinance
President, I
careful
move the
study and
committee
recommend
report.
council vote on it accordingly. Respectfully submitted, those members present, Councilwoman Oliver, Councilman White, Councilwoman Bracy, Councilman Field, Councilwoman Fields, Councilman Spadola, and President Congo.
Mr. President, I move the committee report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that the committee report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. This time we'll have our city treasurer's report.
October 5th, 2023. Total investment, $506,059,849.88. Total cash on hand, $15,766,967.14. Grand total, $521,826,817.02. Submitted by Dwayne Sims, City Treasurer.
I move the treasurer's report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that the report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. I'll accept the motion to move to accept all non-legislative business.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second to accept all non-legislative business. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Again, as a friendly reminder, please watch your step as you do come forward for any public comment once we are on that that part of the meeting. It also, if you are part of a group, please consider using one speaker from the group who will have up to 2 minutes to convey your collective message. Thank you. Councilmember Cabrera.
Good evening. Can I have the members of Peace Week, if you could come forward, please? Week Delaware kicks off this Sunday, and we invite everyone to participate in the many, many events that are taking place. We would like to recognize the efforts of all the people that bring together this wonderful event. And it is a statewide event, but the events that are happening here in Wilmington, we really encourage you to come and participate. Whereas it is the sense of City Council to honor individuals and organizations who have demonstrated outstanding achievement and are deserving of recognition and acknowledgement. And whereas Peace Week Delaware 2023 brings together organizations from all over the state to celebrate and promote a common cause, peace. Started in 2016 to bring attention to peace and unity within communities throughout all 3 counties, this initiative is now in its 8th year of providing the community with free, nonpartisan, statewide events that highlight creative solutions and pathways for Delaware residents to experience more peace. Whereas the theme for Peace Week Delaware 2023, We Are One, emphasizes our common human needs and our hope for creating a more unified community. Peace Week Delaware is led by a steering committee whose goal is to maintain communication with community organizations and partners to coordinate events for the annual Peace Week celebrations. They ensure that all events are accessible to all community residents, establish the criteria and themes for the week, and work with their partners to help build on what is already being done and continue their progress. And whereas Peace Week is an invitation to go beyond what is and create what can be, it encourages our communities to strive and see our neighborhoods without violence. It gives people a chance to be and feel a part of the solution for the issues that disturb the peace in our cities. There is a sense of neighbors working together to create harmony and promote justice and equity through organizations focusing on the difficult problems faced by our communities. Things such as police reform, systematic racism, housing inequities, drug abuse, gun violence, and other crimes our state and nation face. Whereas Peace Week Delaware will take place October 7th through the 15th in 2023 with numerous virtual, hybrid, and in-person events planned throughout the state. We encourage all Wilmingtonians to participate in Peace Week Delaware 2023 and be inspired to take action for peace. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Wilmington that this council is pleased to commend the partners and organizations that help bring Peace Week Delaware 2023 together for their outstanding commitment and dedication to service that they provide to our city and the entire state of Delaware. So we have members of the steering committee here. If anyone would like to say a few words, we welcome you to speak and be here.
Thank you, City Council members, and for this resolution and for supporting Peace Week Delaware. We all know that peace doesn't just happen, it takes effort. And there are countless people, organizations, and individuals throughout the state of Delaware who are making these efforts every day. Those who help feed somebody who's hungry, those who help find a home for somebody who's houseless, those who support a returning citizen, support children and families. There are those who work towards healthcare equity, for gun safety, for climate justice, for conflict resolution, mental health. The list is long. Peace Week Delaware celebrates all of these peacemakers. Throughout the week, Peace Week Delaware educates and shows us how we can create more peace. It helps us connect with those who are struggling and with those who are working to help. And it has the potential to inspire us to action, to work for peace. Beginning tomorrow evening with a silent walk to Rodney Square, and then following 9 days of events, we will be celebrating Peacemakers. We invite you to join us. You can find all of our events on our website, peaceweekdelaware.org, or on the back of our postcard is a QR code that will give you access to all of our events. These cards can be left here to be distributed. Great. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you this week.
Thank you.
At this time, I would like to bring forward the esteemed members of our Hispanic community that we are recognizing as part of Hispanic Heritage Month. And I will start talking about some of you and the wonderful things you have done as you make your way to the front. Yes, our wonderful people who are getting recognized, come forward, come forth. I'm going to start talking about some of the members because we want to, we have quite a few people we're recognizing, and we want to move along with time. One of the members is Bianca. Her work and dedication to the seniors with Los Abuelos program, where she is the program director. She takes them on field trips. She goes above and beyond. And one fun fact that you want to know about Bianca is that she has this series that she started. It's called Doña Cleta, and it's on social media, and she brings so much humor to all of us, and she really highlights the cultural nuances between the young and the old and just our culture. So if you haven't seen it, even if you don't understand the language, you just have to see it. The filters that she uses are hilarious. Come closer. Okay, I'm going to read the resolution, and then I have a copy of it for each of you. This is sponsored by all of City Council. Whereas Councilmember Maria D. Cabrera is honored to present this resolution in recognition of National Hispanic Heritage Month and the integral roles of the Latin American community in our city and beyond. This year, we would like to recognize the following community members who work diligently behind the scenes to positively impact the lives of Latinos in the city of Wilmington and the state of Delaware and beyond. Whereas Bianca Aldegon of Los Jardines, Senior Assistant Living Coordinator, Kevin Andrade, President and CEO of the Voice Radio Network 104.1, Wilmington, Carlos Dipres, Community Activist, Carlos de los Ramos, Chair of the Delaware Hispanic Commission and Associate State Director for the American Association of Retired Persons, ARP, Alicia Dominguez with the Latin American Community Center, Andres Ramirez, a community activist, Erica Gutierrez, community activist and a La Colectiva board member, Nancy Lemus, member of the Delaware Hispanic Commission and a health and disabilities activist, Bonita Green, Naylene Hewson Gonzalez, Stefania Jimenez Nino, and others who contributed to the organization of the Latinos Unidos Student Summit are all deserving of special acknowledgement. And whereas Hispanic Americans are the largest minority group in America, National Hispanic Heritage Month is an occasion where history and accomplishments are commemorated through concerts, parades, food, fairs, and more. Each year, September 15th marks the first day of the National Hispanic Heritage Month in honor of the anniversaries of independence for Latin American countries, including Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. Whereas the Council of the City of Wilmington is pleased to observe National Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th, 2023 through October 15th, 2023, and encourages all residents to participate in program and activities that celebrate and honor the essential role of Latinos in the economy, politics, culture, and in the very fabric of this nation. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Wilmington that this legislative body recognizes the celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15, 2023 through October 15, 2023, commends the individuals named herein for their service and honors the past and present contributions of Latinos locally in the state of Delaware and throughout the United States. The idea of recognizing, I call them the unsung heroes, because we have Latino leaders and, they get recognitions, they get honor, they get to speak. But I'm following the example that President Congo set during African American History Month, where he brought forth members of the community, the people that are behind the scenes that make a lot happen. And the people that are here today are those folks. You've already heard me speak about Bianca. I want to give her her recognition here. And Bianca, we thank you for the work that you do with our seniors, with los abuelitos, and we encourage more abuelitos to join. She takes them on trips. They do fun things and baseball games. So thank you for the work that you do. And thank you for keeping us laughing, Doña Cleta. The next person, Kevin Andrades, he is someone who, he just has so much vision, looking forward in the media and communications. He had his radio station in Southern Delaware, but he saw that there was a need here in Northern Delaware. So he did bring La Maxima to Wilmington, Delaware. He's located right in the Trolley Square area, and they broadcast from here. The importance of having Spanish language radio is that we are able to communicate with the community. We're able to let them know the things that are going on and engage a community that does prefer to hear things in their language. One partnership that we did with La Maxima and Kevin is a vaccination event that we council members participated in along with the Roberto Clemente League, and we were able to vaccinate over 40 people at the park at Woodlawn Park that day, which I thought was a low number, but they told me that that was really a success because not that many people come out. So to get Latinos to come from everywhere for that vaccination event was amazing. I'm going to have Kevin say a few words. We want to keep the comments to a minute. I have a couple of you who will speak here tonight.
Good evening, President and members of the council. For me, it's an honor to be here tonight and receive this recognition. I believe Wilmington is growing fastest that we can imagine, and the Hispanic community is part of it. As a media outlet, we wanted to support our community and want to make sure the community is united, not just divided, as we sometimes we think, and it is. You know, sometimes there's African Americans here, Latinos there, whites here. Everybody is divided. We should be united, and I hope our media outlet Maxima 104.1 is going to help to achieve that. And anything that we can do as a media for the city, for the council members, for the organizations, the nonprofits, and every member in this community, we will do with our big heart. And thank you so much again for welcoming us to Wilmington. We opened our station May 2021 after the pandemic. And it was tough times, but here we are, 2.5 years later. We are celebrating today. We acquired another station in Wilmington, 1510 a.m., WXCY, and we are very, very honored to have another station here, and we celebrate the Hispanic Heritage Month as well. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Kevin. So council members and others, please use the radio station to get your message across, especially to your Hispanic constituents. And Kevin, here's your award. The next person that we have is Carlos de los Ramos, and I've known Carlito, as I always like to call him, for the longest time. I met him when he was working with the Latin American Community Center. He did a lot of great work there, and now he is the president of the Delaware Hispanic Commission. He is doing great things with AARP. He's also one of my dance partners, so I would ask Carlos to come say a few words. And he has some commissioners that are here too getting awarded.
Buenas noches. This is your first Spanish lesson. I'm truly honored to be included amongst these amazing people, and I feel that the line should be all around this building because we have so many Latino leaders that need to be recognized. And I'm thanking Maria Cabrera, Councilwoman. Maria Cabrera, the first Latino woman to be elected to council, but she might be the first, but she's not going to be the last. On behalf of myself and the Delaware Hispanic Commission, whose mission is to uphold the impact and needs of the Delaware Hispanic community with the vision of a Delaware where Hispanics have power, equity, and opportunity. Let me repeat that again because I think it is very important. Where Latinos, where Hispanics have power, equity, and opportunity. I want to thank you all for this opportunity to be here. Our vision is to see a multicultural Latino residents of Wilmington who come from all over the world to have the opportunity that is possible in this country. Getting an education for themselves, their children, starting and running successful businesses, working in good jobs, and let's talk about good jobs. When you get a job in the bank, we don't want people to ask you how difficult it is to clean the bank. We want you to understand that Latinos are in leadership positions. When you are cleaning a house in Greenville or Hocassin, We don't want you to be asked, how much do you charge to cut grass? We want you to understand that that's my house and that we are in every neighborhood in the state of Delaware. We want Latinos where they are playing leadership positions. And this doesn't happen if we don't have people, leaders, like Nancy Lemos. Nancy, there you are. Who is foremost a parent of a young man with life-sustaining care needs, who uses medical equipment to maintain life. He's here with us tonight. She's a true leader, a mother of a child with disabilities. Nancy has learned how to navigate the complex health system by necessity, but she didn't turn away from the community. She became a leader, not only being part of the Delaware Hispanic Commission, where she advocates for Latinos, but also being part of the Council for People with Disabilities. She's an absolutely leader in our community. Community leaders like Erica Gutierrez, who during the challenging times of the recent pandemic, as we were all closed in our house and we were warming up with our blankets and trying to protect ourselves, she was out there educating our Latino community on how to protect ourselves and how to help one another. Those are true leaders. And I'm really grateful and humbled to be amongst these leaders and to see how we are working together, how we are supporting together. But this doesn't happen without organizations that support us, like the Delaware Hispanic Commission, and of course, the ones that pay my paycheck, AARP. So thank you so much. I know that AARP State Director Lucretia Young is with us tonight, so thank you so much for your support, because it allows us to have the free time to really go and work in community. And with that, I'm going to leave you with this. AARP, somos la fiesta where everybody is welcome. We are the party where everyone is welcome. Somos a diverse community. We are a diverse community. Somos los que sabemos guiar. We are who we can lead. Somos AARP. And we want to celebrate the beauty of our heritage and our diversity with salud, dinero, y amor. Thank you so much, and thank you for this, Maria Cabrera. Thank you.
So I thank Carlos for making those introductions for Nancy and Erica, who cannot be here with us today. At this time, I would like Carlos Adipres to come forward. Carlos is also a very good friend, the other Carlos. He came here in the U.S. in 1997 as a Delawarean. He has been nonstop with his career, working for nonprofit sectors. Carlos, come forward. I'm talking about you. Working for organizations such as the American Cancer Society, where he founded the first Latino cancer survivor group in the Mid-Atlantic area, Children and Families First, the University of Delaware, Delaware Developmental and Disability Services, First State Community Action Agency, and the health initiatives. His passion has been specifically directed to aiding the needs of the minority communities. He's also fought the decision to terminate the dual language school, Lewis, and was able to succeed in that. He has been a Latino advisor for various political candidates, and currently Carlos is the senior relations person for waste management. Carlos, he's another dance partner. Thank you for being here today. The next person, we have Alicia Dominguez. She is not here, so we're sorry that her and Erica were not able to make it. So now and Andres Ramirez, so those are other folks that didn't make it. I would like to talk about the phenomenal students who started with an idea and they planted a seed that they wanted to have their own Hispanic student union after seeing other groups with their union. So I would ask their advisor, Wanda Barrett, and the students to come forward to receive and say a few words.
Thank you for having us here tonight. I'm so happy to say we are celebrating big time this year, our heritage. It was one student, and she's here with us tonight, that said, why not? Why not us? Why not us, the Latinos, have our own student summit? The student summit was created by the students and for the students. It was an incredible experience because they selected topics that you would never think that our youth is thinking about in the future. So we had an experience, and I want to thank everybody here. And Maria, you were phenomenal, and she was there with us at every step of the way. And I want to thank you on behalf of United Way. And the Delaware Racial Justice Collaborative, Latinos Unidos at the Voltech Hodgson School. They got together, and I'm gonna let Naylin. She's very shy, but she spoke so well she participated from being part of the planning committee. She took this from her idea of why not to the execution, and here she is today. A little bit shy, maybe a little bit intimidated or whatever by the nerves, but you can come and say at least a little word to you.
I just want to say thank you to everyone who has supported us through this whole thing. As Wanda did say, I had an idea after being taken to the Black Student Summit with my best friend, and I really was inspired by that. So I would not actually be here without Wanda and her team, so I'm very happy for that. And then my Spanish teacher, Miss Green, as well. So thank you.
And sometimes you, last but not least, a good friend, Nancy Lemus, and I think that Carlos said it so eloquently. As a mother, I watch as Nancy has struggled with the ups and downs of Chris and his illness, and he's here. Chris is right here. So she takes him everywhere. He has so many opportunities. He was at the Queen when Hillary Clinton was campaigning for president. He's at so many events. She just makes sure that he has quality of life and that his disability doesn't hold him back. But the fact that she's able to still dedicate time to be a community leader, it says a lot about who Nancy is. So thank you all for indulging us. I know we took a little extra time, but it is important to give credit to those unsung heroes that are out there churning away in our community, that sometimes we don't realize everything that they're doing to contribute to the quality of life for all. So I want to thank all of them. And Nancy, here is your resolution. Thank you.
Councilmember Darby.
Good evening, everyone. So tonight I have a resolution to recognize Hanover's Church Food Pantry. So we're going to have our wonderful second district residents come up here, and I'm going to start reading the resolution. Whereas it is the sense of City Council to recognize individuals and organizations who demonstrate outstanding achievements and are deserving of recognition and acknowledgement. Hanover Church Food Pantry, under the leadership of Becky Arnold, merits such recognition. And whereas the food pantry at Hanover Church has been in existence for 4 decades. It began with a small group of women who saw a need in the community around the church and decided to supply food to those in need. The food pantry is a client-based nonprofit that reaches out to the Wilmington community to give individuals from all different backgrounds a place to shop. The food pantry, which has a grocery store-like atmosphere, is located in the gathering place at Hanover Church. They provide fresh produce, eggs, meat, food, toiletries, and shelf-stable items. They also offer other resources that can lead to restored and happier lives. And whereas the food pantry's mission is to bring food, hygiene products, and other resources directly to anyone in need, their work is a lifelong for single seniors who live in surrounding high-rises. As food prices continue to rise, you got that right, there has been an increase in the number of families visiting the food pantry. Collectively, Hanover Church Pantry has helped feed over 2,400 families. And whereas Becky Arnold serves on the session as Hanover Church as Elder Class of 2024. Becky wears many hats. In addition to managing the food pantry for the past 2 decades, she also managed JB's Cafe and acts as an event coordinator for Hanover's many events, gatherings, turkey giveaways, plant and yard sales, fundraisers, and bake sales. Becky has been the liaison in building partnership to keep the food pantry running. Every Thursday, Ms. Arnold works hand in hand with the Hanover team to distribute goods. Whether she is in part of a church project or the food pantry, Becky is always there to help with a smile on her face. She and her staff of 13 ensure that every person who visits experiences warm hospitality that Hanover Church is known for. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Wilmington that this legislative body recognizes and congratulates Hanover's Church Food Pantry along with Becky Arnold for their dedicated work. We look forward to the positive impact this resource will have on the quality of life for Wilmington's underserved population. Job well done, guys.
Herman Pulliam. I'm accepting an award for Becky Arnold. She couldn't be here tonight, and I brought Carolyn Bullock, which is a volunteer. She's going to give you a few insights about it.
I don't like speaking about people. Okay, I volunteer there. I've been there over 5 years, and mostly everybody that help other people, they are volunteers too. And they've been open for over 30 years. And on Tuesdays, we have we sell food to buy fresh vegetables for everyone, fresh vegetables and fruit to give to the food closet for the money we make. And I'm gonna thank you, that's it. This is what the food closet used to look like before the fair.
All right, thank you both. Also like to acknowledge other resolutions of recognition from Councilmember Harley, recognizing the Buccini Pollen Group. Also from Councilmember Harley, recognizing Paint the Riverfront Pink Week. From Councilmember McCoy, recognizing Victoria Twardowski on her 100th birthday. And sympathy resolutions, if I may, for sympathy resolution for Elizabeth Ann Burton. And also from Councilmember Carrera, recognizing the salute to the legendary Riverside Mothers. At this time, we will go to public comment. Again, this is a friendly reminder that for public comment, there is a Google Form sign-up link in the chat. For any City of Wilmington resident who resides in any of our councilmanic districts or a taxpayer who would like to speak, the time limit is 3 minutes. Please keep your comments of general matters pertaining to Wilmington City Council's councilmanic districts or any city council business. Please do not address any council members directly, but please direct all your comments to me as the president. Also, if you are in chambers with us, please watch your step as you come up to the podium. First, we have DeSheryl Broadwater. Thank you for joining us, and again, please watch your step as you come forward, and please remember to introduce yourself. And once you're at the podium, you can see the screen to your lower right-hand side. That'll give you your time frame. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is DeSheryl Broadwater, and I live in the 3rd District. Well, actually representing the seniors in the 3rd District. My mother happens to be one of those residents in the 3rd District. Congratulations to all the people who were recognized for the unsung heroes today, because that leads me into my comment for today. And that's our seniors, who are our unsung heroes, who have worked tirelessly for years to maintain their homes. And with the cost of living and everything, things have changed somewhat. But I want to zone in on the homeowners funding that we were notified that some of our seniors would qualify for the $3 million that would be funneled through Delaware Habitat Program. Some of the residents have reached out, and some were given appointments. The day before their appointments were canceled. Some were told that it would start in July. Some people apparently, from a meeting that we had a couple weeks ago, their homes were already started. Some of the work wasn't completed properly. Now they're asking them to reapply because they can't get the information for the contractors. So there's a lot of things that are going on. All I'm here today is to ask for some transparency, some integrity. Give us something in writing that lines out what the program is about, what the guidelines are. And I think at that point, our seniors would know, you know, one, if they qualify, two, what the program is about. We came to a meeting in this building I'll say 3 weeks ago. Time goes by so fast. So it was probably about 3 weeks ago. And I think Tom Ogden was there, the mayor's staff, and a couple council women and men, along with the constituents. It didn't turn out to be a very happy thing. Unfortunately, you know, some things happened and transpired in front of the constituents. But what I wanted, my whole point is that if we're going to have some programs, can we get the information? Maybe get it disseminated a different way. Maybe through the civic associations where they can do it. I'm just asking for a better way to assist our seniors, because one of the things that someone mentioned here is to help our seniors, keep them in their homes. And with the cost of livings and the fixed incomes that they have, it makes it difficult. So if they qualify for some of this funding, that would help them, you know, with the roofs. A lot of the homes on the, you know, on the north side are older homes because they bought their homes a long time ago. So let's try to do a better job at, you know, giving information about the program so that they can maintain their homes. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Tony Dunn. And Mr. Dunn, please remember to introduce yourself, and please be careful when you step up to the podium. And again, if you look on your lower right-hand side when you're at the podium, you can see your time. Thank you.
Good evening. Tony Dunn. I'm the Vice President of the 2500 Civic Association of the 2nd District, and I'm also a board member of the NPC. And my concerns need to be addressed. I've been trying to get them addressed for some time now with the NPC, the Neighborhood Planning Council. It seems like I'm hearing a lot of organizations such as the 2500 Civic Association, all of the rest associations in the 2nd District are not getting the information out to the neighbors and to the residents. And that was one of the goals and missions of the NPC, Neighborhood Planning Council. I've asked for information to try to get this done. Seems like it's not being done. I've emailed the administrative office. I've emailed city council members. Still nothing's being done. This needs to be looked into. If the NPC is not going to do what the city and the ordinance has told them that they need to be responsible for, we need to get rid of them. We need to get rid of them when they're not transparent. We need to get rid of people who have their own agendas dealing with the neighborhoods. My neighborhood, I go around my neighborhood, find out they don't even know who the president of the NPC is. So how can they participate? How can they get information if the NPC is not going to coexist to the organizations that they're supposed to coexist to? Without the community and those other associations in the community, then we're going to be at a standstill. We're going to continue to do the same things, get the same things in our community, especially the 2nd District. I don't know about the other NPCs and what they're doing. I haven't yet gotten into the other NPCs, but I'm definitely looking at the bylaws and the mission statement of the 2nd District NPC. And they are not doing what needs to be done to bring together collectively our communities. Nothing. The neighbors that don't know, we need to know. We need to know what other communities is doing. That's part of what City Council designed the Neighborhood Planning Council for. So it needs to be looked into as soon as possible. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Virtually, we have Michael Malloy.
Thank you, President Congo and members of City Council, for letting me speak this evening. Before I begin discussing Mayor Przicki's bailout plan for his developer friends at Gibraltar, want to put a little context to these comments. One is, city has limited funds. And the second is, are all citizens being treated the same way by license and inspection? There was a recent article about Gibraltar that may have left people a bit confused and even with incorrect assumptions. The recent article portrays the latest actions of Mayor Purzycki as a preservation project. Many people think of this as a Highlands issue. Instead, it is a city issue, and most of your constituents would not approve of the Purzycki bailout plan for his friends, Drake Cattermole and David Carpenter. They're member managers of a less than honest name of an LLC called Gibraltar Preservation Group. First, Gibraltar Preservation Group was essentially given the 4.5 acre mansion and building parcel. They paid $10 plus a small amount of transfer tax to Preservation Delaware in January 2010. Preservation Delaware maintained ownership of the Coffin Gardens. Second, 100% of the initial purchase price for the entire Gibraltar property was paid for through Delaware's open space funds. In exchange for state funding, a binding conservation easement was put on the property. Owners were required to maintain the property, and the state was required to enforce the easement. Non-enforcement of conservation easements are grounds for the IRS to disallow the tax deduction taken for sale. The owners did not maintain the property. The state did not enforce the conservation easement, and the owners, with their neglect, ended up with damages to the property of greater than $1 million. Mayor Purzycki is proposing to use $900,000 to $1.2 million in taxpayer funds to give to his friends, the negligent owners, absolving them of the cost of the damages that will be repaired. There's more. In the past few months, the mayor has apparently been using taxpayer funds to clear the growth or the overgrowth, high weeds, dead and dying trees, and other dozens of perhaps hundreds of code violations. He's using taxpayers' funds to address the dozens of those violations of his friends. Other than Cattermole and Carpenter, Mr. Purzycki is most responsible for the neglect since he took office in 2017. He said in 2017 that L&I would never enforce the code at Gibraltar. He said the same thing in public meetings in 2022. How could he know that unless he urged or approved the non-enforcement? Does anyone else in the city get that kind of treatment? Finally, Drake Cattermole and David Carpenter aren't even any of your constituents. They're wealthy Greenville developers. They don't live in the city. Most important, they're friends of the mayor. They're being bailed out by a friend. The mayor is also planning to have the city give away 21,000 square feet of city land in the most valuable neighborhood to Mr. Cattermole and Carpenter. And he's going to ask you, City Council, to approve of this outrageous giveaway. The simple test of fairness is very simple. Imagine the owners of Gibraltar were from New York or New Jersey and weren't friends of the mayor. Would they be getting this multi-million-dollar bailout deal on a property they purchased for $10? I think you know the answer. And I don't think your constituents would agree with the way that mayor's using this money. Thank you so much for your time and for letting me speak this evening.
Thank you. Did Maggie Messenger get back on virtually, WITN? Messenger?
I'm here.
Okay, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you, City Council members and President Congo. Following up on the comments that were just made, I want to start those comments with a reminder about the topic, this particular topic. Many years ago, the courts overturned the city's granting of a variance at the parcel known as Gibraltar. They decided that the conservation easement and the historic preservation easement was indeed a self-imposed hardship, and that there was a per se bar against granting a use variance when the hardship is self-imposed. In other words, the owners developers were aware when they bought the property for $10 that there could not be a business park there. Thanks to the neighbors and others, a second proposal to put a hotel or wedding venue at the end of a residential street in this city was also defeated. Now comes the question of whether the city should give away part or all of a West 16th Street parcel so that the same owners who neglected the property for 13 years can now make a profit on the backs of taxpayers. West 16th Street separates two parcels that are owned by the developer, the Gibraltar parcel and a residential parcel. West 16th Street goes right between the two. I attended all of the city budget hearings, and I listened as fines and fees were raised. I witnessed social services agencies' funding being cut. We're all aware of housing shortages and job shortages. I heard concerns about fiscal restraint and responsibility. I do urge this council to be responsible here. Don't give a valuable piece of property that the city owns away to a developer. This would alter the entire nature of this unique corner of our neighborhood, which is flanked by a school at one end where 400 plus cars already come in and out of the neighborhood every day. It could double the number of homes on this small street from 8 to 16 homes. I think it would also sow mistrust among taxpayers who depend on you to be responsible with our tax dollars. Thanks for letting me speak.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for your comments. At this time, we will move on to legislative business. And again, this is a friendly reminder that pursuant to council rules for legislative matters, the sponsor is entitled to speak first and last, and during debate, each council member may speak twice for up to 5 minutes each time. Councilmember Darby?
Yes, I have a resolution. Mr. President, I have a resolution to present. Oh, no, that's the second. My bad. Mr. President, at the September 7th council meeting, I presented ordinance number 23-033, which amends Chapter 35 of the City Code to ensure employees in retail, hospitality, and food service establishment are provided advance notice of their work schedules, compensation for late charges to their work scheduling, right to rest between work shifts, and first right of refusal for additional work shifts. And this legislation was initially referred to Community Development and Urban Planning Committee. However, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to refer this legislation to the Public Works and Transportation Committee.
Can we get is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that ordinance 23-33 is now being referred to the Public Works and Transportation Committee.
Mr. President, I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 23-060, Agenda 0352, whereas Section 2-369 of the City Code requires grants awarded by the mayor, city council, or the city treasurer in the amount of $5,000 or more to be.
I move this resolution be received, recorded, and filed and adopted by a yea and nay vote.
Second.
Give us one moment, please. So we're going to go back to your first piece of legislation, Councilmember Darby, because the vote wasn't taken. We're going to take a voice vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, got it, sorry. I start over?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, Mr. President, I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 23-060, Agenda 0352, whereas Section 2369 of the City Code requires grants awarded by the mayor, city
I
council.
move this resolution be received, recorded, and filed and adopted by a yea and nay vote.
So
Second.
moved.
It's been properly moved and second that the resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by yea or nay vote on the question.
Yeah, so this resolution allows for me to use some of my funding to support Wilmington Senior Center. So the Wilmington Senior Center is located in the 2nd District, and they provide a lot of support to the seniors within the 2nd, 1st, and 3rd District mostly. So I spend a lot of time there, and I'm in support of the seniors in our community, and I want to make sure that they get the support that they need from council. So this is $10,000 from my funding.
And seeing no hands raised, clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman White,
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Field,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilman Mills,
Yes.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy,
Yes.
President Congo.
Yes.
11 yeas and 2 absent.
Declared adopted.
Mr. President, I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 23061, Agenda 0353, whereas the legislative
I
representative.
move this resolution be received, recorded, and filed and adopted by a yea and nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that the resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by a yea or nay vote on the question.
Yeah, so this piece of legislation is really just from my experience on being on city council for about, I'm in my junior year, my third year. And I feel like there's a lot of small nuances in trying to be effective city council, as I have to work during the day. It's considered a part-time position. So I think that being professional and transparent is key and important to trying to be an effective council person. And I like to read. So when a agenda is posted 7 days prior to the meeting, the legislation isn't available most of the time. So then I have constituents calling me, where's the legislation so I can read it? I'm sitting down to prepare myself for a committee meeting, and the legislation isn't available. There are times the legislation isn't available to actually read, like literally maybe a few minutes before or an hour before a city council meeting. And that doesn't allow me to be an effective council person. And I want to be effective as possible in my role with the limitations that I have. I want transparency to the community so that they have time to digest and read and participate in our government. So this legislation is really looking at that. So it's asking for it to at least be in some type of form that is handed in. So of course, at the committee meeting, if amendments need to be made, it could be made. But we are actually the only government that allows for something like this to happen. You can't go on the state level to a committee meeting that is posted and not have the legislation available. It's just unacceptable to me. And it's supposed to be a professional job, and there's supposed to be transparency, and we want the community to participate. But we, like, small nuances like this is not allowing participation or for me to be the effective city council that I want to be. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Oliver.
Yes, I think this piece of legislation is, I hear her say that about down Dover, and that's not true. That their legislation is always prepared before, a couple of days before it gets posted. I don't know even Congress from Dover to the state, et cetera. Sometimes things happen, but to put that pressure on the staff just to say this must be, anything's possible. Sometimes you have to make adjustments, amendments. So I don't think it's intentional that every now and then you get a piece of legislation at the the last minute. Even from the committee, you have the committee room, meetings. From there, you are able to read some of this. So this makes it seem like nothing is being done accordingly. And I think the staff does a good job. So I'm not going to be in favor of this.
Thank you. Any other hands? Any other comments before we return to the sponsor? Councilmember Cabrera.
I understand the issue that, people need. We want people to be more engaged, to participate, and we have a process for that. And as it is our responsibility to be here for these meetings and to listen to our constituents and their concerns. But, we start adding an additional 5 minutes to every piece of legislation for people to come and discuss.
Not this one.
No,
I'm
not that one?
confused.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I thought that's what the next one was. Okay, all right, never mind.
Okay. Return to the sponsor, Councilmember Darby.
Yes, so I think there's a misunderstanding. So on the state level, you have to file your legislation, right? Before it can even go on committee, all legislation has to be filed. And that's just basic rules. And it happens in county council, you have to file your legislation before it's even heard in committee. So like I can go online now and look at all the filed legislation that legislators put up before it even goes to committee. So that's not how the state works. And this isn't asking for a final form. This is just saying something must be presented to the public so that they're able to read something and not wait till the last minute. And this is not once in a while type of thing, because I actually read every committee meetings. Like I read their legislation for each one, and it's a problem almost every time. And I'm texting staff like, "Where's the legislation? Where's the legislation? Why can't I read the legislation?" And then at the last minute, the legislation is posted for the community to be involved with, and for me as a council person to be involved with. So that is not true. That's not how the state works, and I'm very familiar with that. And then two, this is not asking for final form. It's just asking for something to be presented, unless there's like an emergency, like we have another COVID situation and then we need funding or something like that. Makes sense, emergencies, but not for you to rush a piece of legislation in to be on the agenda because you wanted to hurry up and go through. Like, that's unacceptable and not professional.
Councilmember Spadola.
Thank you. To me, with my time on council, when I think about the time we were blindsided the most, and the public especially, because I think there was a lot of outcry about it, is when this council passed the no confidence vote in the police chief, and that wasn't sent out until at least 12 p.m. before a 6:30 p.m. meeting. So please, if I'm understanding correctly, this legislation would prevent that in the sense that the resolution, unless it's an emergency, we couldn't be blindsided like that.
Correct.
Okay, so with that context, I'm going to support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Bracy.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I actually agree with what Councilman Darby is saying in the spirit of being prepared. So in the spirit of being able to, when the agenda goes up, the legislation is posted. I get what you're saying, and I understand, because then you're able to read it, study it, ask questions, be prepared. So I get that. However, I think where I question or where I have a pause is, why is it not happening? And is it staff? Is it other departments that the staff is relying on? And if it's not in their control, us passing this might actually shoot ourselves in the foot, because it's not our staff that's the holdup. So if that's the case, then I think the conversation needs to be, where in the process is the bottleneck? And how do we address that? And it could be legislation. It could be something else. It could be process and procedures with another department that we need to question. So I think that's where I hear what you're saying, because there are plenty of times where I've gone to read the legislation, because I like to read it as well, and it's not there yet. But I just don't want it to fall on council staff to then be scrambling, because it's not just their responsibility. We rely on other parts, other departments in this building. So I think we need to, have that conversation about where the bottleneck actually is.
Councilmember Oliver.
I think Councilman Bracy hit it on the nose. I was trying to get my thoughts together. A lot of this is from the law department. So some of this is about having a conversation and not blame, and I don't want to say blame the staff, but make it seem like our staff is not. Because when I hear the conversation, it's being posted, it's not being, well, the staff is not writing the legislation. It comes from the law department. So I think this is not a bad piece, but sometimes it's about having a conversation with some of your colleagues also. So then maybe we could have sat down and expressed, because I see where she's going. I see where Councilman Darby is going. But as Councilman Bracy said, I think this is also a conversation we have with the law department, because our staff is not drafting this legislation if it's something late. But like I said, I see the posting and I see it sitting upstairs. So, but a lot of this doesn't have anything to do with our staff.
Thank you. Councilmember Cabrera.
I mean, I understand that we should be prepared, and if we're going to put something on the agenda, that means that we have gone through it either in committee. Now, for the committee, I understand that you might not have it completely ready, but I mean, if it's going to go before a committee, we meet once a month, then that legislation should be worked on and be ready to discuss at that committee. And if it's been in committee already and voted out of committee, there's no reason why it shouldn't be ready to be presented before the meeting. So I'm hearing both sides, and maybe it puts undue pressure, and we don't know what the source of the bottleneck is. I'm not opposed to this, but maybe we should have further discussion on what is the issue, what is the cause, and rectify that before changing the rules or doing the resolution. But I do agree, we should have something in front of us to review before it goes before council or even a committee, so that we can be prepared, do our research, and hear back from some of our constituents.
Thank you. Councilmember Fields.
Thank you, Council President. I just think that this could be something that was in an email, and we could just, I think what happens in that office, those ladies work and everybody in the office, I think a conversation, like where does it start, where's the middle, where's the end, and why is it taking so long? Do that process first. Then if you're experiencing the same thing and I'm experiencing, let's have a conversation to see how we can, how we can get our chief of staff to talk to the other departments in order to get this information to our staff. This right here, I think it could be an email. I don't know. I just don't think it's necessary. I just don't think it's necessary. I think it could be done in an email, and I really wish that the sponsor would have reached out to their colleagues to find out if they would even be interested in this, or have they been dealing with the same thing. We wouldn't be having this conversation right now had they done that. Thank you.
Councilmember Darby.
Yeah, so I don't know where the comments are coming about staff, and this is a resolution that I submitted through staff and had conversations about on what the issue was. So according to our rules, we are allowed to, all we have to do is post the agenda. That's it. We do not have to post legislation. So it's not staff. They're just following the rules, right? So nowhere did I ever blame staff. I think y'all just making stuff up at this point, because no one's blaming staff. What I'm saying is there's a loophole in our rules, and our rules say agenda can be posted. It does not say the legislation has to be posted with the agenda. That is simply what this legislation is. It is not saying has to be in final form, ready to vote. Like, it's just saying present something to the public. Present something so I can read it and not know what I'm talking about when I come to a meeting, so I can ask questions. I have a week to ask questions, prepare, so that when I come to the committee meeting, it's not a legislation coming in front of me. So this narrative about staff, about conversations never happening, I've been working with staff, asking them questions, constantly complaining to Mona and Marshall about this and the process, and understood, and they told me what the process is and told me I have to address the council rules to fix it, right? So this is a conversation that I already had with staff, because I have to go through staff for resolutions, and I speak to Mona and Marshall. So that are like false narratives that always are drawn, or just maybe you should have reached out and had, if you read the legislation and had questions, you should have reached out and asked questions to the sponsor. So in regards to this is simply saying there is a loophole in the rules where it says only the agenda has to be posted 7 days prior. It does not say legislation has to be with it. Now, for us to fix it, we have to change the rules. Simple as that. So staff has been talked to already about this. There's nothing inadequate about our staff. It's not our staff fault. Those are narratives that you are making up. So that's simply what this legislation is about.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember McCoy.
I'm sorry, I just have one simple question. Changing the rules, do we need to have a supermajority?
Yes, we have to have 9 yeas.
Okay.
The changes rule. Councilmember Oliver.
Yes, that's what I was going to, she just made the point. But I'm just basically saying, when one council member is talking about changing the rules, I understand talking to the staff, but you get here, I've read it, something like this, you should pick up the phone and talk to a few of your council members. No one council member is over this whole body just to say, I talked it out. Just because you complain, you're just one person. I mean, what about everybody else? So you do have complaints, and I get it, but you don't even pick up the phone and say, well, how you feel?
Councilmember Oliver, let's please stick to the
Okay,
legislation.
well, I'm just
Thank you.
saying, no one person should be changing, amending council rules. We should be having a conversation about it, and that's all. I'm done.
Thank you. Seeing no other hands raised, I will return to the sponsor.
Yes, and the council rules things have been changed without conversation with all of council before. So I don't even know where that's coming from. So this legislation is simply addressing a loophole in our rules that says only the agenda has to be posted 7 days prior, which does not allow for the public to participate in a timely fashion. It does not allow for city council to be able to participate in a timely fashion, as I am a council person that likes to read ahead of time, ask questions. I ask a lot of questions. I'm always probing different ideas and different things. So having legislation the day before or having resolution come on a committee, on a city council meeting the day of, is just unacceptable and it's unprofessional. So this legislation, or the false narrative that council rules are changed with all of city council members being spoken to, is a false narrative, because I can speak to that. In this legislation, staff was talked to. This is not a ding at the staff. They are the ones who told me what to do and where to change it. They said, go to the rules, and that's where I went to the rules. So those false narratives being painted are not true. This legislation is about just having more transparency and being able to be efficient and effective as city council. Thank you.
All right, seeing no other hands raised, clerk, please call for the roll. And again, it needs to be signed 9 yeas in order for this to change the council rule.
Councilman White,
No.
Councilwoman Darby,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
No.
Councilwoman Fields,
No.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Councilman Field,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
No.
Councilman Mills,
No.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy,
No.
President Congo.
Yes.
Mr. President.
6 nays, 5 yeas, and 2 absent.
Declared defeated.
Mr. President, I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 23-062, Agenda 0354, whereas the 108th session of Wilmington City Council believes openness.
I move this resolution be received, recorded, and filed and adopted by a yea and nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that this resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by a yea or nay vote on the question.
Yeah, so this legislation, just to give some background, in the last session, the community was able to participate throughout city council meeting. So they had a public comment in the beginning, and they had public comment in between to be able to make comment about individual legislation. So I've been hearing from constituents on why that part was taken out. And I had to explain to them that when the new city council came into session on this session that I'm on, they voted to take out public comment for the second part where there's legislative comments, that it was a decision that city council made. Well, some city council, because I wasn't involved with that. I wasn't even included. But certain city councils made a decision to to vote that out of our council rules, where the community is able to continue to participate throughout our city council meeting. So this was really a resolution that council member Linda Gray had presented in the prior session, where it allowed more participation from the public to be able to hear their voice during the city council meeting. So I'm asking for it to come back. Simple as that. I didn't make any other additional changes. I said whatever Councilmember Linda Gray had to allow the community to participate outside of the first public comment so that they can comment on specific legislation. That is exactly what I wanted to do, because I believe that if we allow more opportunities for the city, for constituents to participate, that they will come out and participate. But if we continue to restrict it, to take it away and exclude people from participating, then this is what we're going to get each city council meeting as we look back here.
Councilmember Oliver.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Councilwoman Linda Gray did bring this, and we said we was, basically we did vote it in like as a pilot, but Council President, it became that we was in here at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, individuals getting up, repeating themselves, not saying, and we have that's what the committee meetings are for. It's open to the public. People can come out to the committee meetings. When you come in the chambers, it's about handling your business, not getting on the floor, talking about an ordinance. Somebody comes up and say they're for or against the ordinance. That's what the committee meetings are for. And that's why we as a collective body did remove it, because, people want to get home to their family. Staff is working all day, and it's just, we're just in here real late. So with that being said, I will not be voting for this resolution either.
Councilmember Cabrera.
I will resume the comments that I made inappropriately before, and that is that we are giving people opportunities to come to committee meetings to have the discussion. I, for one, seem to have a record for the longest lasting meetings, which are usually 2 and 3 hours is the record. So people are showing up and they're making comments and they're being heard. And it's not like we're only doing in person. We have a hybrid model. People get on Zoom and they also are able to make comments. I'm glad that our meetings are, a little later, like 5 p.m. Versus 4 p.m. But maybe if they were later, not that we want to be here that late, more people could participate. Or if they see the agenda items, they could make sure they make plans to be there and be heard or send a surrogate. But to open up every time that we go to vote on something and to have a line right now of people making 5-minute comments for each agenda item, we'll never go home. Never. And some of us are single parents. So I'm opposed to this.
Councilmember Spadola.
Thank you. I do think there is ample opportunity for public comment at the committee meetings, before the council meeting itself, and that's not counting opportunities to email council members, call them. And additionally, the last time this was up, the only feedback that I got was from a constituent who wanted to be engaged, but felt if this passed, the meetings would be too long for them to watch and be engaged. So I don't think it's about us being here all night. It's harder. This could make it harder for the public to be engaged if every ordinance is a 45-minute debate when it would have been 10 minutes otherwise. Not even a debate, but a public comment that would have been said at the beginning of the meeting otherwise.
Councilmember Mills.
Yes, Mr. President. Just for clarity, it says 5 minutes on each legislative item. Is that 5 minutes for each person, or just 5 minutes for that item itself?
Councilmember Darby.
Yeah, so that's in regards to what council members. So council members have 5 minutes. If read 3 minutes public comment during a portion of it. So so there's the difference between the 3 minutes in the beginning, 5 minutes during the council thing. So yes.
So everybody's getting an additional 3 minutes for the public. It's not just 3 minutes for the legislation period. For this item, it's 3 minutes. We can bring 3 people up to speak, or everybody gets 3 minutes is what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that.
Councilmember Cabrera.
I'm still confused because I thought it was 3 minutes is the public comment here and then 5 minutes for the legislative items.
What I'm trying
So
to
that
understand.
would be 5 minutes for each item. And I'm just going to say this, and everybody has their reasons as to whether they can be here in person or not. But if there's going to be a 3 or 4 hour council meeting and we're doing the hybrid and you're in the comfort of your own home on your computer with the meeting, okay, maybe it might not be so bad. But some of us actually physically show up to the meetings, and that means we're here until we close that door, including yourself, Mr. President. So it's just gonna really make the meetings long. And when I first served on this council, we didn't do this. I understand the last session did. And there was a lot of mixed feelings about that happening. I understand the spirit of it. I'm not opposed to it. But we're giving people opportunities to engage with us. And they can also pick up the phone and talk to the sponsor and to any one of us how they feel about legislation, which people do often. I don't think it has to be debated on this floor when we have a process already to debate it. What's the point of a committee meeting then, if we're gonna debate everything here? Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Field.
Yes, I also am against this resolution. I believe that there is ample opportunity in the meetings already for people to express their opinion. And they can also call us, they can email us, they can request meetings. I do it all the time. Anybody that calls me says they want to meet, I meet with them. This previously was an experiment for 2 years. It never, at any other point in city council, was this part of the system. And I just don't see a need. I think the meetings are already too long. And so I just don't think it's a good idea, and I'm going to vote no.
Thank you. Yes, I was a part of the council who did approve that change in the public comment section. I supported it then. I'm going to support it now. I believe that the meetings are long because of council members. I don't believe that the public makes the council meetings long at all, or the committee meetings. I believe that's from council. It's funny how we kind of pick and choose when we say that debate is only for committee. When we come here and we debate pretty much after every piece of legislation, but we won't allow the public to do the same. And I guess I learned a lot from when the public, when they were able to come and just bounce some ideas off of us as we were in debate about different pieces of legislation. It's one thing to talk about it before the debate is on the floor, but it's another thing to be an actual participant in that dialogue. And it wasn't, honestly, it was, from our experience, it rarely was the public who showed up and made our meetings extra long. It was those of us who are on the floor right now, and those who were in the last session. I'm definitely going to support it. I just think it's another opportunity for us to learn from the public, and them to learn from us. They all can't make committee meetings like some of us all can't make committee meetings. So again, it's just another time for us to engage. Seeing no other hands raised, I go back to the sponsor for final comment.
Yes, just to address a few things about committee meetings. Committee meetings are at 5. Everyone can't attend committee meetings at 5 p.m., especially a lot of people get off of work at 5 or 6. That's prime time for pickup for kids if we're going to talk about being single parents. And then even being a single parent myself of 3 kids, sitting here, I make arrangements for my committee and council meetings when I have them, right? I don't have another person at home with me. So I make that commitment because I was voted in to be a council person and represent. So then I make that commitment for in my life. So I know someone brought up being a single parent, and I probably could speak to that best. And then it's only it's every other week. It's twice a month. And we're worried about being here really late. Like, I just, that being the excuse is just unacceptable. And then another thing that was said, that as a collective body, it was changed. No, it was not a collective decision. It wasn't no unity thing. It was changed by a few people because everyone was not a part of conversations to change council rules. So that's a false narrative. So we can stop painting that narrative that it was some collective unity thing. It was not. And then I just don't get it. We're here every other week, twice a month. And we're scared about being here till 10 o'clock. I don't know. It's just unfortunate that the community is looking to participate. They want to participate, and it's very limited. And they try to go to the committee meetings and participate, but the legislation isn't ready. So it's like, what are we asking for? How are we being efficient to making sure that people can participate and that we have additional public comment for them? There's really no other time. If they can't make it to the committee meetings and they come here, they only have the 3 minutes in the beginning, and people barely just coming in. So I just think it's very important for me, for my constituents, to know that I try to make it more transparent, right, on record, that I try to make this more 108 session more transparent in regards to participation and making sure that it was professional and that they had a way to read legislation before they even got to the committee meeting, because we keep talking about, oh, they could do it in the committee meeting, but they don't have the legislation to read to participate in the committee meeting. So these things are really here for the record and for the constituents to hear that there are council people and people who want you to participate and be a part of the government.
Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman White,
No.
Councilwoman Darby,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
No.
Councilwoman Fields,
No.
Councilwoman McCoy,
No.
Councilman Field,
No.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
No.
Councilman Mills,
No.
Councilman Spadola,
No.
Councilwoman Bracy,
No.
President Congo.
Yes.
9 nays, 2 yeas, and 2 absent.
Declare defeated. Councilmember Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will be holding ordinance 23029.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I have another ordinance. That would be ordinance 0355. Mr. President, I have an ordinance present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 23035, Agenda 0355, an ordinance to authorize and approve 2 one-year extensions of contract 23025 PW concrete improvements between the City of Wilmington and Diamond Materials LLC.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to authorize and approve 2 one-year extensions of contract 23025 PW concrete improvements between the City of Wilmington and Diamond Materials LLC.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move this be known for the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to Public Works and Transportation Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Public Works and Transportation Committee.
That's all I have for tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's all I have it for you. I think you gave me one.
Councilmember White, you can please mute your mic. Thank you. Councilmember Johnson.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 23036, Agenda 0356, an ordinance to authorize and approve an amendment to the Master Services Agreement between the City of Wilmington and Pimentas Corporation.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to authorize and approve an amendment to the Master Services Agreement between the City of Wilmington and Pimentas Corporation.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer it to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 23037, Agenda 0357, an ordinance to authorize and approve a software license agreement, software implementation services agreement, support and maintenance agreement, and a hosting service agreements between the City of Wilmington and Systems and Software, Inc.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to authorize and approve a software license agreement, software implementation services agreement, support and maintenance agreement, and hosting service agreement between the City of Wilmington and Systems and Software, Inc.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer it to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
Mr. President, if I can just state for the record,
Yes.
both of those pieces were on behalf of Councilman Johnson.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This time we'll move to petitions and communication. Councilmember White.
None at this time, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilmember Darby.
None at this time.
Thank you. Councilmember Oliver.
Nothing at this time. May I be excused, Mr. President?
Yes, you may.
Thank you.
Councilmember McCoy.
Yes, actually, I just wanted to make certain that I recognize once again Ms. Victoria Twardarski for her 100th birthday. It actually is coming up on October 14th. So I look forward to you having a very happy birthday, Ms. Twardarski. And then also, I would like to say congratulations again to Miss Charlotte Miller Lacey of I Am My Sister's Keeper. They're having their tea party that's coming up this Saturday. So I hope that it's sold out. If not, then please go on to the Facebook page, but I'm pretty sure it is. We always have a grand time, and I look forward to seeing all of the young ladies who are being mentored by that group.
Thank you, Councilmember Field.
Yes, Mr. President. On Community Outreach Initiative collaborating with the BBC, Free for Students mentorship, AESA basketball clinic and a spa day, Free for the Parents, life coaching and career development, yoga and meditation for all. Giveaways will be provided at our pop-up 2.0 and much more. This will be happening on Friday, October the 13th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's at the Chase Field House, 401, what is this? You know where the Field House is. You know where it's at. There is a link. I don't know what the link is, but I had a link. So if you email me or call the office, I had a link for you. Oh, other than that, I just have one saying. It's not a quote or anything, but this is what I have to say. Just be amazing. Be yourself and be amazing at what you do.
Thank you. Councilmember Cabrera. McCoy. No,
You call you
Cabrera.
Me.
Fields.
Oh, Fields. Okay, I apologize. Field, Councilmember Field.
Just a quick announcement for the Art Loop, which is this Friday. 2 locations in the Charlie Square area are taking part. The Howard Pyle Studio on Franklin Street, which is a very distinguished studio, a lot of very famous architecture, and 30 or 40 artists that work there, and they open up the facility every Art Loop. It's a very interesting spot. 1305 Franklin Street, and that is from 5 to 7:30. And then the second location is the Blue Street Gallery on Delaware Avenue, which is also open for Art Loop, and I highly encourage anybody to attend. It's free and open to the public.
All right, thank you. Councilwoman Cabrera.
Yes, Mr. President, as you heard us talk about the kickoff to Peace Week, I'm just going to highlight a few of the events, mainly the ones I'm going to, but we do encourage people to go to the website and to see what is happening. It kicks off tomorrow with a peace walk, which is basically done in silence, and you meet at St. Andrews and Matthews at Sam's at 5:15 p.m., and you walk to Rodney Square, and then it's over. That kicks off Friday. On Sunday, My Sister's Keeper is having an event from 12 to 4 p.m. And then Dr. J. Macklin is having the march with the steppers and the drummers. Her event's going to be from 3 to 6 p.m. in the 200 block of North Market Street. The Moms Demand Action will be there. They're going to be, decorating coffee cups with missions of peace. So I hope that people can come out to that. Also want to mention that Tennis Rocks is having another event at the PS DuPont Tennis Courts. And Tennis Rocks is a tutoring program and a tennis program that benefits children in the inner city. My son personally went through the tutoring program, and many of our city children are going through the tennis program. In the winter, they move indoors to the DuPont Country Club. And in the summer, they're at Haynes Park. So not every child plays basketball, so let's try to get the kids involved in different events. And I'm not sure if Councilmember McCoy mentioned the tea party that My Sister's Keeper is having on Saturday as well. So I hope that people will join us for the Peace Week events. Check the website, more things going on next week. On Sunday, I do want to mention at 10:30 a.m., my good friend Michelle Roberts will be conducting a talk that has to do with environmental justice as part of the Peace Week activities. On Thursday, the First and Central West Presbyterian, they'll be open from 12 to 6 p.m. for people who want to walk the labyrinth. And there's just a whole bunch of events. So I'm just encouraging and hoping to see more of our residents out there as we have these peace dialogues and try to see what we can do to stop the violence, to encourage unity, that regardless of where we stand on issues, that we can have healthy dialogue and come together for peace sake. Thank you.
Is that what you was talking about?
Thank you. Councilmember Mills.
Yes, Mr. President. I just wanted to remind the community of the community block party going on tomorrow evening in the area of the North Market Street Library branch in the PAL. Consider there will be a block party happening for the community's fun engagements for the kids and bring the family out. Hopefully it doesn't rain. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Spadola.
Nothing tonight, Council President.
Thank you. Councilmember Bracy.
Just happy fall, everyone, and the fall leaf collection process has started with the city of Wilmington, so be on the lookout for those reminders to for the cities coming through your neighborhood. That's it.
All right, thank you. Just want to let everyone know that we are postponing our run for Mashima that was supposed to take place this Saturday. We're waiting for a new date from races to run, and as soon as we're updated, we will update council and the public. But it's going to be in the spring. Again, I just want to thank everyone who has joined us in council chambers and virtually. If you ever want to be a part of our meetings, like was mentioned earlier, we are here every first and third Thursdays, 6:30. If you want to contact us between that to see when committee meetings are, if you have any concerns, please call us at 302-576-2140. Again, our number is 302-576-2140. With that, I will accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
It's been properly moved and second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.